Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I do hope you're having a magnificent start of the week. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel, so thank you very much. Now, where are all these squeeze plays, Bbig, Muln, AMC? Well, they're pretty much doing nothing. I mean, the volatility throughout the day is completely mesmerizing to watch. To be honest, I do think a lot of people are getting destroyed in these trading sessions. But, each person does what they feel is best. I'm starting to see, as I was expecting, the rumors around Bbig are increasing every day. Now I've heard this on YouTube, that Bbig is actually the real squeeze, and that GME and AMC were nothing, and now Bbig is the one that's gonna destroy the entire market and is gonna explode beyond belief. It's funny because 2 weeks ago it was Mullen, but now apparently it's Bbig. Now the other ones don't count anymore. I think on AMC everyone is waiting for that court decision. And of course, if it doesn't happen, we already know what's going to be the YouTube videos. Oh, the SEC did this. The DTCC did that. Oh, the U.S. government forbade the MOAS, and the short squeeze is the squeeze is finished because they issued trillions of dollars in naked shorting. We all know how it's going to be. Am I saying that this is impossible, in the sense that can I guarantee that this is actually not happening in the background? Of course I can't. Nobody can, right? Am I telling you, go buy these stocks, go sell these stocks? Hell no. I'm just stating, basically, if you look at the charts throughout the day, you see these huge spikes up and down, and people get liquidated and destroyed during these sections. And you already know that if things go well, then the MOAS is confirmed and it's finished and it's going to happen, and it's happening at any second. If it's not, if it doesn't happen, it's the corruption, the government, the SEC, the DTCC, FINRA, you name it. What I was actually thinking about is actually quite funny, right? So if there are a lot of people in the apes that really think like this, I would do like I'm trying to imagine myself. Okay, what if I was one of the apes involved in this kind of plays? Wouldn't make sense maybe to consider looking at some cryptos now? Not financial advice, please don't get it distorted. I will explain my reasoning process. Most of the cryptos, with the exclusion of some of the big ones, everything is actually on chain. You can actually see all the addresses. Most of them you cannot even short. And the ones that you can short outside the exchanges, we're talking about some DeFi protocols in which everything is pretty public as well. So there's none of this manipulation. There's none of this naked shorting that allegedly they say there is. And everything is on chain. So you can see exactly which addresses are doing what. Although, crypto is full of scams and full of crap coins that go straight to zero. So in that sense, it's even a bigger wild west, if you will, on that front. But I was thinking, if you really believe these things, wouldn't it make sense to go to a system that doesn't have that doesn't have naked shorting, doesn't have Citadel, doesn't have market makers in that level, many times doesn't have even shorting. You cannot even short it. You can just buy or sell the coin, but you cannot short it. I don't know why no ape has ever or apes typically don't consider it. And actually, I have a theory about it, right? Because it's possible nowadays to tokenize the shares of a company. You can actually put the shares of a company on the blockchain, right? And then all of them are completely identified, okay? So it would become extremely obvious if there are synthetic shares, or stuff like that. But I do think, personal opinion, that executive management of AMC, Bbig, etc., they all know that most likely, I'm not saying that there's no synthetic shares or anything, but maybe there are not to the degree that the apes believe. Like there are people who think AMC should be $500,000 a share. So anything is possible, right? But the problem is that would prove beyond any doubt that the level of synthetics, if there is any, because it's never been proven, would be completely dissipated. So the question you should ask is, okay, if there's a way that we can definitely prove that there are no synthetics, or that there are synthetics actually, why doesn't the executive management of companies tokenize the shares and put them on the blockchain? Because they could do it. That way, all the doubts would dissipate. But I do think that executive management thinks that there is no synthetic shares, or that there are very few of them, so they don't want to do it. Otherwise, think about it. If they do it and it's proven that there's almost no synthetics, what do you think the apes are going to do? Do you think they're going to keep buying all the stories, or do you think they're going to sell immediately? What would happen to these YouTubers whose entire life is to talk about these plays, good news, bad news, good news, bad news, good news? That way, there's no more content for them as well. That's why none of them push for this, because they don't want it, because deep down, they know, or they think that if there's any synthetics, is very low, are very low in number, or they actually do not exist. So think about it. There's a pretty easy way to do it. You have certain companies nowadays that issue bonds on the blockchain. This has happened before. So to tokenize shares, put them on the blockchain, it can be done. And that way, it's very easy to identify the total number of shares, completely removes the notions around synthetics and fake shares. You also remove most of the ability for naked shorting, and you would solve all of these issues. Now you should wonder, think about it, stop 10 seconds and think, why doesn't the executive management of all these plays do it? Think about it and let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.